Senator Mangal.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, we are in the Christmas season and the festive season, and I would like to take this opportunity to wish yourself, my colleague senators on the opposite side, independent senators, and all St. Lucians a Merry Christmas and, of course, a very prosperous 2019. And, Madam President, I am smiling when I said a prosperous 2019 because I do believe with the plan of this government that indeed St. Lucia will start to transform itself in becoming a prosperous place for its citizens and also for even our visitors who visit our shores. Madam President, I sat and I listened to both the presentation by the leader of government business, and also I sat and I listened to the presentation by the leader of the opposition business. And I must say it is in the history of this Senate that I think that for a moment we probably were listening to two members of government business making a contribution. Because for the amount of times that I witnessed that the government side applauding to the leader of the opposition's business, while his fellow colleagues stayed very quiet and amazed at what was involved in that presentation, I certainly thought for a while whether we had a case of an assos being played in this honorable Senate. But, Madam President, it is what we are debating about here today. An airport. An airport that I believe both sides have agreed is essential and is needed. We have no arguments there. Both opposition and the government side agree that we need to redevelop the Uranora International Airport. And why we agree is because we realize what is there is inadequate. What is there cannot meet the demand for our future in terms of arrivals in this country, in terms of the number of visitors coming in, and in terms of the number of jets landing in Vieux-Fort. And it was just on Saturday, Madam President, that I had reason to visit the Uranora International Airport. And for the very short period of time that I was present at the airport, I witnessed all 6 parking aprons occupied by jets, 2 other jets sitting on the tarmac, and 1 landing, making it a total of 9 jets at the airport at that very point in time. So I could very well imagine, Madam President, what is happening with our arrivals area. Sometimes I have understood that even our passengers having to bear going through the sun immediately after leaving an air-conditioned jet, modern jet, having to go through the sun to get into the arrival section, not having a jet bridge, sometimes have to even stand on the outside because there is not enough space within the terminal building to take everybody in arrivals. And I would believe that this is what happens when we go beyond this kind of capacity. So it is definitely needed that we have the airport redeveloped. But we have different approaches. That is where we differ. We, on the government side, started a process back in 2008 where we increased the airport departure and arrival tax and started the process of collecting funds towards the redevelopment of HIA. So there was a process, and this is why I said it looked like we had assos in the house today, because Senator Henry indicated that why don't you continue a process? Why must the government change a process that is already in place? Why not continue that process? So I would say to him, but your government in 2011 found a process in place. Right. And why it did not continue that process? Right. Why didn't it continue that process? So why now you must say that the UWP administration is the one not continuing a process of the Labour Party being a PPP, where it is basically in its infancy stage, Madam President. But you see the record is there. The record is there. It is not just the Hiranura International Airport. They had 5 years. They met a plan in place. And they had 5 years for the development of the Hiranura International Airport. They did not lay down a brick, Madam President. Not a brick. And that is the same thing. It is synonymous. St. Jude's Hospital is another classical case. Just the same at the Hiranura International Airport. 5 years, and they could not have completed it.
That's it.
And you want to know, Madam President, why they're afraid of this process and why they prefer PPP? You know why they prefer PPP? It's because of the dismal record in the St. Jude's Hospital project. Because of that, a project which was supposed to cost much less.
Yes.
Much less, $35 million.
Yes.
Right?
100 million and counting.
They now took it to over $100 million, Madam President. And they cannot finish the St. Jude's Hospital. So they're now running scared. They're running scared. So I can't handle big projects, so let me pass it on to foreigners to do for me. This is what is going on. Let me pass it on to a foreigner to do for me with the Hiranura International Airport. Because if these guys had any worth and any substance in them, Madam President, they would have realized that come 2011, when they formed the government in this country, that they had already collected on the books approximately $54 million towards the development of the Hiranura International Airport. $54 million, Madam President. Where is that money today? Where is that money today? When the UWP came back into power, there was not a cent left.
I stand on a point of order, Madam President. I think you set the tone earlier when you corrected, or you called upon one of the leader of government business to use parliamentary language. And I note that my colleague has just stated these guys, if they had use, if they were any use. Some of these sounds a little bit, and these guys referring to, I suppose, members of the previous government. I think that the same can be said, but I think the language can be improved.
Senator Senator Mangal, my apologies. Yes, let us keep the language correct.
Thank you very much.
And most of all, we must refer to our colleagues in the correct terminology, certainly not guys.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and my apologies, opposite Senator. If I did use that language, I certainly withdraw it. Okay, I would like to stick to parliamentary procedure. Yes, you could be a bit hyped with the extra clapping. Fine. So, Madam President, if you permit me to go on. So, there was $54 million approximately in the kitty that was there for the development of the Hiranura International Airport when the Labour Party formed the government in 2011. Where is that money today? When we came back into office, we found nothing. Nothing. So you have such an interest in the development of Hiranura International Airport, but you have utilized those funds allocated for the Hiranura International Airport development to another purpose, which you have never even declared. That is it. And furthermore, you are in control. The Prime Minister of that country then was the member of Parliament for Vieux-Fort South, and two others, Labrie, and also Vieux-Fort North. But yet still a project which is so crucial to the development of the South, that will create employment in the South, and also that will improve on our facility of arrivals and departures in this country. You've taken this money and done something else with it. That's all I can say. But let us look at what could have happened in the 5 years that they were in office. Had they continued with that tax, Madam President, they would have collected approximately $25 to $30 million annually. That would have equated to an additional $150 million in those 5 years. 54 and $150 million, Madam President. Over $200 million would have already been collected for the development of this Hiranura International Airport. And would have been well advanced. But this government now would have to start again, would have to start again and put in this tax again. And so the naysayers said, oh, we do not support this tax because it means that it's going to make our tourism product more expensive the destination will become more expensive. Traveling to St. Lucia will become more expensive. And so we do not support it. They do not support it. But who are the ones paying those taxes? The majority of persons paying that tax, Madam President, are foreigners, tourists coming into St. Lucia. And the people of St. Lucia who are paying those taxes, people like myself who may be traveling on business, are well willing to pay this tax. And we are capable of paying this tax, especially for the development of our country. But let us look at what has happened since the reimplementation of that tax by this government. Have we seen a drop in arrivals in St. Lucia? Have we seen tourists deciding that they're going elsewhere because of an airport tax in St. Lucia? No, Madam President. We have seen an increase in tourism arrivals in this country. This is what we have seen. So there is even a compounded factor where we could have been collecting more than the 25 and the $30 million from back then. Yes. And probably at that stage, we would have had all of the funds available for the development of the Hiranora International Airport. Yes. And why was that tax removed? Why was that tax removed? I can remember back then that the Prime Minister and the member for Beaufort South stating that we do not have a block laid on the airport. We do not have a block laid, not a single block laid in the construction of that airport. So why are we collecting money for something that is not being done? But Madam President, look at the hypocrisy involved in that. This tax was a tax placed for the development of the airport, something that would have been mostly financed by foreigners coming in and paying that tax. Yet still we decide to give them a reprieve and simply say it is because we have not placed a single block on the ground, we are not going to have them pay that tax. So that tax was stopped. Yes. But at the same time, I remember a popular Calypsonian, Madam President, making a particular statement about a Kenyan and an Anthony situation. While we remove that tax, we go about and place a similar tax on the people of this country, the very persons of this country, for the desilting of the thumb in ancillary countries. And this tax we are paying up to today, we have that tax on our WASCO bills, where we have to pay a desilting tax. Was there any desilting happening when that tax was paid? There were no desilting. So why are we taking it out on persons on the outside? We're putting it on our very people in this country that they should be paying those taxes, Madam President. You understand? Plus VAT, etc. So, Madam President, we should have been way forward in the development of this airport. We should have proceeded, and we should have been doing very well. So I understand the reluctance, and I saw the contradiction being done with the leader of the opposition business. One time he seems to be in support of PPP, and for the other case, he's not in support of PPP. So he's in support of PPP for the airport, but he's not in support of PPP for the hospital. He's in support of PPP for something else. He's not in support of PPP for this arrangement. Madam President, why? Where are we going? Where are we going with such arrangements, Madam President? Where? But you see, this is the fear, and this is the fear that they have on the other side. But this is the vision of this government, Madam President. This is the vision of this government. This is the vision of this side, that we have developed a master plan for the development of this country. Yes. And in this master plan, we have looked at all aspects. Yes. We have looked at all aspects of development. That's right. All aspects of development. So we've realized, Madam President, that we cannot be only increasing on our tourist plant, on our number of hotels, while having an airport that is not in the proper condition for its development. You see, Madam President, we're talking about home porting, and we're talking about a mega cruise ship terminal in the south of the island. This is what they're afraid of, Madam President. This is what they're afraid of. So while we're developing a mega cruise port terminal in Beaufort, and we'll be having home porting in Beaufort, that will significantly increase the number of arrivals in this country. And because of the increase in these arrivals, it will therefore make the collection of that tax a lot more annually. So this is why this process will be compounded and compounded. We will be making more monies than that $30 million annually, Madam President. And as we make those funds, we would then be able to pay, or SLASPA will be able to honor its debts. And we heard that Gouvernement just ka prêter l'argent, gouvernement ka prêter l'argent. Gouvernement pas ka prêter l'argent. Gouvernement ka simpli ça nous créer garantie on loan. C'est même quoi madame président. Si on est si ish en particulier monde pas ça aller l'école et bien moun n'a pas ni l'argent pour moun ça aller l'école. Il ka aller pour un loan. Mais si pas ni sécurité pour loan là, il peut venir dire comme ça garantie loan là ba moi. Est-ce ça mean that que c'est vous qui a payé loan là? C'est pas vous qui a payé loan là. Ou ka only pay loan là si moun là d'accord ouais de ka garantie loan là ba là pas ça payer loan ça là. This is what it is. So the government would only be indebted only if SLASPA cannot pay its debts. That is all it is. And what is the record of SLASPA? What is the record of SLASPA in paying its debt? SLASPA is one of the most successful run statutory organization in this country. SLASPA, another one is Lucilec. Yes. And Madam President, you know what happens when Lucilec has shares? Everybody wants to buy.
Yes.
Everybody wants to buy. I'm longing for the day maybe when SLASPA will have to sell shares as well. I personally would quickly buy shares from SLASPA. Yes. But SLASPA is run so efficiently. Yes. And SLASPA is profitable enough that it does not need shares from anyone, Madam President. Okay? Maybe SLASPA even had the option, instead of taking a loan from the Exim Bank, could have simply come and say, let me put the option of shares on the table as well, and we could purchase as well, Madam President. So this is the organization we're talking about. Yes. But let us look at the numbers. Let us look at the numbers. You wanted, in your arrangements, to give a foreign entity the control of this airport for 30 years. 30 years. Even at the base figure of about collection of about $40 million, would have seen almost $1 billion in revenue over that 30 years. Whereas the loan amount would have been less than what? $400,000? $400,000. So you're giving a foreign entity the control of your airport, the management of your airport. You have no say in what is going to happen. Exactly. When you bring in these additional arrivals into St. Lucia with your home porting, etc., that amount would substantially increase. So if we talk about $1.5 billion, what would be the profit margin that this foreign entity is going to make? What would be that profit margin? What more could this do for the people of St. Lucia and for SLASPA? What more would that money be able to do for them, Madam President? A lot more for this country. And at the same time, we are putting aside, we are letting go control of one of our most important assets for a period of 30 years. A strategic asset. A strategic asset. I know that there are other assets that are essential services, Madam President, but a lot of the times we heard about the PPP arrangement, and I am a proponent of PPP arrangements as well, right? You will hear me speak next about NHC and public partnership arrangements. But Madam President, you have to look carefully at what are the pros and cons of each arrangement, and what are the benefits. Why should you give up something that is already profitable to you? To another entity? In most public-private sector arrangements, whether it be in an existing situation, an existing project, like in the case of the airport, or whether it be in a new project, most of the time, these are borderline projects, or these are borderline entities where the government or the entity is not really recognizing the profit, and so they're looking forward for the assistance. So that person coming in to taking that risk must not only come with just their finance and say, okay, I'm getting something that is being made up for me, and I'm simply going to come in and make money on it. This person must come with its own strategic plan, how to go about making the additional revenue. Making the additional revenue, not just giving you a case, not just giving you a case, Madam President, where here it is, I am already profitable, this is a profitable venture, I'm just giving it to you, so go ahead and reap the benefits from it, Madam President. So we need to be very careful, but I very well understand the fears of the opposition. I understand the fears of the opposition. Because Beaufort South, Beaufort North, and Labrie Saltibus is very crucial. It's very crucial. Yes, we want it. Yes, we want it, and we come in to take it. We'll come to take it too. You understand? The people of these areas must understand what is happening. It appears that this opposition, Madam President, is opposing for opposing's sake everything that this government wants to do for the people of the south of this country. And we have to ask ourselves, why? Why? Are we simply doing politics for politics' sake? No. We have to, if the opposition comes up with something that is brilliant and is in the interest of the people of this country, whether it be in a constituency of a member in government, I will support it. But the fact is, I have not seen that happen in the past, Madam President. And I remain very pessimistic that this can ever happen by those people on the opposition side.
What a shot.
So, that is why I can challenge them with this, Madam President. Come with a plan just like this government. Come with a plan. Come with a plan for the development. Don't simply come with proposals and ideas and sit in government for 5 years and do nothing about it. But this government is not simply going on paper and say we're guaranteeing a loan for SLASPA. There is a plan. And the leader of the opposition business said, are you simply just borrowing money all over the place and you don't even know that it's not targeted? You don't even know what you're doing with the money? As a quantity surveyor, he should know a lot better. He should know that there is a plan. There is a plan that has been developed for the Hiranora International Airport, and that those funds are allocated directly to the plan. There's cost estimates that have been derived for the financing of this airport. And that is where I alone know it. Well, you should find out. You should find out. So this is what it is. This is what it is, Madam President. This is what it is. This government will transform the south of this island. Hiranora International Airport will happen. The expansion will happen. We need to ensure. I mean, I traveled recently to a small place like Grenada. And when I compared Grenada's airport terminal to what is ours, when I compare what is happening in Antigua to what is ours, we really, for a country in the OECS, that is the leading economy in the OECS, the largest economy in the OECS, we have Antigua and Grenada airport terminal buildings being a lot better than what is happening in St. Lucia, Madam President. Had the UWP government remained in power between 2011 and 2016, Madam President, and the collection of the airport development tax, I am certain that the airport would have commenced and probably today would have been close to a point of completion, if not already completed. So this is what you need to take into your pipe and smoke. Why have you been in government for 5 years and you come up with a PPP, you come up with a proposal, but where have you taken it to? Where have you taken it to? So if you're afraid of handling large projects, because of your record in St. Jude's, because of your record in West Coast Road, in RDP 1213, I understand, in Rochamel, etc. Compare that to the record of this UWP government. How many projects have we had going into this massive form of cost overruns? So I remain confident, Madam President, with the record of SLASPA, with the record of this government, and with the fact that the airport development project is essential to our country, that this government is on the right track, and I fully support the development of this project. I thank you.